حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
license.
Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Brothers and sisters, we give praises and thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us again this wonderful opportunity for being here on a really beautiful day of Jummah. And we hope and pray, inshallah, that we shall continue, my brothers and sisters, to get this wonderful opportunity. Whilst we're making announcements as usual, we'll have our brother Nasir and the other brothers and sisters, inshallah, will be coming around with the donation boxes. And again, my brothers and sisters, please continue to be as generous as you've always been. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for you, increase your risk, that inshallah we'll be able to give more. And you know the benefit that no matter what it is that you give, with the best of intention, and it goes to the proper use, inshallah, that we shall end up making a difference to not only this community, but inshallah, the world at large. Because anything we do gets, it's like the rippling effect in an ocean. A drop of water just, send the waves rippling throughout wherever the ocean is, inshallah. Brothers and sisters, few announcements to make here, and one thing I wanted to just allude us to. We obviously have a lot of young people here, alhamdulillah. This is the time when they're all off from school and we get more coming for Jummah. And we see as well that the masjid is already filled, and Kutbah hasn't even started yet, alhamdulillah. There's a rally going on, and I'll just talk a little bit more about that. But what's really stemming from is that we as individuals, we're living in a society, it's a secular society, and obviously we're allowed to practice our religion here as Muslims, live our lives as Muslims. However, it is not always as easy as we may like it to be. And to even join on to that, we do have, inshallah, a program here on Sunday for the youth. And it's for ages 12 to 18. And it's really to engage the youth. And the particular program as well on Sunday is career fair. The career path that the students or the children would probably like to take. Now, when we think about it, we are really, whatever we become and do and whatever, it has a lot to do with not only our nature, the DNA that we have in us, but the nurturing our environment and who we associate with. Our friends, we tend to become like them. So choosing a career path is really sometimes we do what our friends are doing, the people who we associate with. Nothing wrong with that. All we need to know is be aware of, we got to be very careful of the people, our peers, the group that we associate with, because we may become like them. And if it's not something that we feel it's a good thing, it may be too late to make changes, or it may be more difficult to make changes. So it's always a good start to be in the right company. And that brings me to let us talk a little bit about what's happening in schools, and this rally is called Higher Day. And it's set for tomorrow, inshallah, at 1 o'clock. And what that's really trying to do, and it says here, just to read what it says here, it's called SOGI, and it stands for sexual orientation and gender identity. You know, one of the things that they mention here is that, you know, we want to stop indoctrination of our children, we want to stop bullying of parents. And you know, my brothers and sisters, we all know that we are Muslims. We follow the injunctions and teaching of the Holy Quran. There is only 2 genders that we are expected to be. It doesn't mean that we should not be wanting to learn about other people, other ways of life, other whatever it is, but to be expected to actually, and this is where I'm not involved in any of this in terms of schools. My kids are older, none of them are at school now, and I do not know exactly what's going on, but certainly there's something going on for these, you know, organizations, and you hear about it over and over, that we need to talk about this thing because children are being exposed to, perhaps indoctrinated, I don't know if that's the right word to use, but again, if we are in an environment where we are expected to be in a certain way or accept a certain way of life, and we do not have the knowledge and the experience to know how to deal with it, especially children at school and parents at home, then it could become a bigger issue. I think we as Muslims need to be who we are. Others, no matter what, religion, caste, creed, or whatever it is, they're allowed to be whoever they want to be. Once we accept who we are and everybody accepts who they are, that's fine. But there should be no gray line as to the kind of teaching, indoctrination, if that's a word being used here, and bullying and all that. So let's hope, inshallah, that we're rightly guided. And if anyone wants to join this rally, it's on Saturday at Celebration Square. Alhamdulillah, I had a very good Muslim fest there. And one thing I noticed, you know, like we tend to do things in a very quiet way, a modest way. You go there to a Muslim fest, there was no huge banner as to, you know, come on to Muslim fest and do this and do that. You couldn't even find the place if you didn't know where it was. There were hardly any signs. But when you get there, yes, there were a lot of activities going on. And that's, my brothers and sisters, I would say it's a very good way for us to be. We just want to be the example. We don't need to make the noise. Others can make the noise, that's fine. But let us be the example that we feel and we know is the right thing to do because we're following the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have the Holy Quran, inshallah, to guide us very, very competently. Just to remind everyone, my brothers and sisters, let's remember to make du'as for all our loved ones or deceased who have passed away, including our sister Zayun, our sister Shireen, sister Kaniz Fatma, sister Anisa Kolia, brother Mohammed Sofi Bacchus, brother Sharif Pope, brother Riaz Kar, brother Abdullah Hassan, and all those, my brothers and sisters, you know, in our hearts and throughout this world, the good men and women. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them all Jannatul Firdaus and make it easy for the families who are here to continue to deal with whatever has happened and to continue to do good on their behalf. So inshallah they'll enter Jannatul Firdaus. And brothers and sisters, let's remember in our du'as all our elderly, the sick, the needy. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them all shifa, give them healing, increase their risk, inshallah, that they too will be able to ask and enjoy Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's bounties, and they'll be able to continue to carry out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's covenant, to do good in this world, inshallah, and the hereafter. And just to mention a few names, we have Sister Bibi Sharifun Hussein, who is an ICU, having a heart operation in Sunnybrook Hospital. Najib, and Brother Saeed Omar, and all the many that we've been mentioning every week. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them all shifa, make it easy for them. And my brothers and sisters, let's remember again, us here, we should always be grateful, absolutely 100% grateful for everything that happens to us, because it is a mercy, it is a ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we hope and pray, inshallah, that we shall continue to develop that mindset, that belief, that complete faith and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that no matter what happens to us, we know that yes, it gets better. Forget about, we don't look at what it was and what we had, and what coulda, shoulda, woulda, but inshallah, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has in store for us, that inshallah is better than we have now. And some other announcements I'll go through here. We do have the youth engagement program, inshallah, we talked about it. That's July 16th, Sunday here. 4 to 7, age group 12 to 18. We want to get the kids involved here. Annual Ijtima 2023. This is on Friday, August 4th. And so at the Masjid Al-Hidayah, Toronto Markaz. So please do go to that. Full-time gifts program. Alhamdulillah, every year we have 3 or 4 students graduating. So now we have some vacant spots as well. And Hafiz Asim is planning, to do different things to make it even better, inshallah. So please get the children registered. There's a wonderful flyer here. Go online and you can register the children for the gifts program. And we certainly want to remind you of what else we want to remind you. Fruits outside, because the hall there is with the summer program. Alhamdulillah, it's a wonderful program. So the fruits, you want to go outside, food in the hall here, and that will be for the next month. And parking, if you want your car to be towed away, then you want to even park over there, but please do not park in Lauderdale parking, otherwise it will cost you, and it does not do good for the reputation of us as Muslims here. Okay, so with that, my brothers and sisters, lastly, we do need volunteers. There's a lot of dust up there, and we need volunteers to help us. August 5th, 6th, and 7th, which is Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So please get yourselves, make yourselves available, please. And I know I've taken a bit of extra time here, so if we're wonderful, the Sheikh and Talib here, Sheikh Nassim Baksh, who needs extra time, and I'm sure he does, please we all understand that, subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to bless and reward everyone of us. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala as-salah. Hayya ala as-salah. Hayya ala al-falah. Hayya ala al-falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت بيدك الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. أما بعد، يقول الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أدعوا ربكم تضرعا وخفية إنه لا يحب المعتدين ولا تفسدوا في الأرض بعد إصلاحها وادعوا خوفا وطمعا إن رحمة الله قريب من المحسنين. صدق الله العظيم. Beloved brothers and sisters, we are in the last days of the Hajj, the last month of the Islamic lunar calendar, and in a few days we'll be welcoming a new year of the Hijri calendar of the year 1445. So we're leaving 1444 and we're going into the year 1445. It is a time in which our Prophet ﷺ, in the hijrah that he made from his city of birth, Mecca, to Medina, to the city of his adopted homeland, which is in Medina. And it was a journey that took place in the latter half, in the late part of Safar, the month of Safar. So Muharram, Safar, so the month that comes after Muharram. He made this journey in Safar, which took 8 days. And he covered a period, a distance of about 200 miles, which is something like 330 or something kilometers. And our Prophet ﷺ did this with his companion Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala an, and they did this journey starting out from Mecca, as I said, and over the period of 8 days covering this journey until they got to Kutbah, which is just outside of Medina. And our Prophet ﷺ ended up in, it was the completion of the hijrah, the actual migration of the Prophet ﷺ. Many of his companions also made the trip independently of the Prophet ﷺ. And in the day he arrived in Medina was the day of his birth, which is the 12th of Rabi al-Awwal. And so we mark this year, the commemoration of the beginning of the Hijri calendar, that event, that historic, momentous event of the Hijrah marked the beginning of our calculation of time in terms of when we say we're going into 1445, the year 1445, we're basing that on the year that the Hijrah took place became the first year of the Hijri calendar. So after that, you will see people refer in the Sirah, the first year of Hijrah, second year of Hijrah, third years, and so on and so forth. So we are 1445 years. This Ummah is marking that momentous historic journey. Our Prophet ﷺ was spiritual. He believed, or his personality, his characteristic was one of spiritual migration. Our Prophet ﷺ. He was a spiritual migrant, as we can say. And he went to Medina seeking refuge. And one of the things about our time is we see people from the south, from countries that are going through turmoil and hardships and difficulties. Countries in Latin America and South America. Countries like Guatemala, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, all of these countries in the south where there's political instability and gangsterism and drug addictions and all kinds of things that are happening. You find a lot of these people are looking for better opportunities in the north. And migrations occur for many reasons. One is political oppression. One now we're seeing is climate change. And people are looking, and now you have a crisis in the city of Toronto where you have hundreds of people from various parts of Africa, Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean sleeping on cardboards on the streets of Toronto. There's a crisis. They're asking the federal government to bail the city out, $150 million to account for shelters for these people, because our city is being overrun by these people who are looking for a haven. And our Prophet ﷺ left Mecca by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to Medina in order for Islam to flourish, for the religion to flourish. Didn't go seeking better food. The dates in Medina are because they come from the lava track, they're very rich in nutrients. Didn't go for that. That came with the package. He went because Medina was the place that accepted his message and embraced his message and invited him to come and welcomed him. Right? So our Prophet ﷺ, this is an important event. And why is it important to observe and to mark these events? Because we are marking time. We're marking our place in time and our passage through time. If you don't have these markers, how do you know anything about your passage through time? How do you know that I'm here and now? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, all our little brothers and sisters who are here joining us because it's the summer holidays. What else? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you this time. This is your time. You're living in our midst, in our time. This is your time. And so you mark that time by understanding where you are in that time. What's my place in time? Right? In a hadith Qudsi, the Prophet ﷺ is narrated from the inspiration from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that people, your time is getting shorter. Right? This is hadith Qudsi. Your time is getting shorter, but you do not understand. Your life is getting shorter, but you don't understand. Every day, every minute of our time, as we walk through life, our time is getting shorter and shorter and shorter on this earth. Do we not understand? Do you not comprehend? And men does not, we tend to forget, we think life is long. And every day it's getting shorter. It says the opposite is happening. See? And so the verses that I recited, and I just choose these verses because they're appropriate in order for us to consider for ourselves. What is it that we in this time need to do? And there's so much to remind you, but we can't remind of everything. It's only one khutbah a week that we get. And so I could choose a number of things that our good brother, the President, mentioned in his remarks. Many things that we need to consider and we need to address. And there are certain things that can be addressed on the khutbah. There are certain things that a workshop might be better, like the one that they have organized the masjid for people to come and discuss gender identities. This is important. It's an important topic. And an important topic not because, like the President, myself, we don't have children in school at this point in time. I have grandchildren in school, right? But the responsibility to educate them on an ongoing basis is the responsibility of their parents. And certainly, we don't believe in relinquishing that responsibility for somebody else to educate our children on the primary things that they need to be educated on. We don't want other people to be telling our kids how they should be, what their identity should be, how they should perceive the world. We teach them the important things that they need to learn and let the private stuff about their personal affairs, such as issues relating to their conflicts over what they might feel, their identities, right? Their personal identities. That needs to be discussed. And certainly I'm saying to the younger people here now, if there's any confusion, there's so many people in our communities that doctors who've studied these topics, people who have psychologists who have studied these topics and are more familiar with them than I am, or someone else might be like Hafiz Asim or the President or something. Bring them to the masjid. We should be able to address those issues at these kinds of forums because these are important issues. I don't believe demonstrations and protests are a solution. That's my personal opinion. I don't believe, but I believe in education. I believe in understanding. I believe in compassion. I believe that these are important issues that should be addressed. And I certainly, as a Muslim, as a believer in the Quran, as a believer in our Prophet ﷺ, as someone who has read our tradition is complex. It's not black and white as people seem to think it is. But we believe in two genders, a male and a female, X chromosome or Y chromosome. We don't believe in shifting identities. One day you wake up, you feel something, maybe that's my identity. We don't believe in that. Right? And so in the books of fiqh where this is addressed, there's quite, we don't even talk about it. But there's an area of fiqh, of jurisprudence that deals with these issues. In the Hanafi madhab, it's certainly very rich. Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam al-Azam, he's the great Imam. By any standard, all the ulama agreed. Imam Abu Hanifa was Imam al-Azam, the great Imam. Discussed these issues. When we were growing up in Guyana, we didn't have much knowledge at that time. We had certain books, our Hanafi textbooks. And I remember we used to come to the masjid to pray. And if we came with a short sleeve shirt, right, the elders used to scold us. As young boys, in a tropical country, it's hot. You wear a short sleeve shirt to come to the masjid. The elders would say, why don't you have a long sleeve shirt? And we never understood this. I never personally understood this until I read the fiqh of Imam Abu Hanifa, which frowned. It's makruh for skin to touch skin in the prayer. Why is that there? He knew, Imam Abu Hanifa knew. Why is it that the boys form one line to pray by themselves and don't pray with the men? There's reasons for this. If you study the fiqh, you will see. And so we need to educate ourselves and understand and discuss in a very open, not getting hostile. We're not against anybody. We're not fighting with anybody. We're not quarreling. We just want to have a discussion that is civil without putting down and denigrating anybody for whatever they believe in and whatever their culture teaches them or whatever their personal predilections are. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals in the glorious Quran, supplicate to your Lord, ad'u rabbukum tadurru'an wa khufyatan. Supplicate to your Lord in humility and in private, in secrecy. Right? Supplicate to your Lord with humility. So supplication is one thing. How do you do the supplication? With humility and in privacy. He does not love, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not love, innahu la yuhibbul mu'tadeen, those who are either transgressors or the aggressive type. So this, you have to understand, occurred in the hadith of Ibn Abbas that said that some of the people of Musa, they used to cry unto the Lord aggressively, right, loudly. And some of the companions, they adopted this, and this came to the attention of our Prophet ﷺ, who said, your Lord is not deaf. He hears. Right? You don't have to shout and scream. You don't have to beat your chest and go, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. No. If you have a moment like that, and it's private, that's fine. Do it in your private chambers. You don't have to come to the masjid and shout, Ya Allah. Allah is not deaf. He can hear you. And so the ayah addresses that. It says, do it with humility and not in a way, and do it privately. You can simply say, oh Allah, give me Jannah. Oh Allah, forgive me. Oh Allah, have mercy on me. Oh Allah, have mercy on my parents. Oh Allah, have mercy on my community. Oh Allah, have mercy on the elders. Oh Allah, have mercy and protect and guide the children. You can do that without making a scene out of it. Right? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals, وَلَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ بَعْدَ إِصْلَاحِهَا. And do not, and call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in fear and hope. وَلَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ بَعْدَ إِصْلَاحِهَا. So, but call unto Allah in fear and hope. Surely the mercy of Allah, this is another ayah. وَلَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. And do not spread corruption on earth. بَعْدَ إِصْلَاحِهَا, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it whole. Do not spread corruption on earth after Allah has made it whole. وَأَدْعُوا خَوْفًا وَطَمَعًا, and call on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in fear and hope, with fear and hope. إِنَّ رَحْمَةَ اللَّهِ قَرِيبٌ مِّنَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Verily, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those, He showers His mercy. Inna rahmata Allah, verily the mercy of Allah, qariban, it's close, min al muhsinin, on those who act virtuously, on those who act righteously, on those who do good. So my message to our brothers and sisters here on the eve of 1445 Hijri is take time to consider where you are in time. Take time to consider where you are in time. Where am I? What can I do to bring myself closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What can I do to bring myself closer to Allah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inna rahmatallahi qareeb, it's close. So take it, snatch it. It's within your reach. There's a beautiful hadith of narrated by Umar ibn al-Khattab. It's in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. And Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala narrated that some prisoners of war were brought. And among them, there was a woman who was nursing, and she was looking for her child. And when she got her child, she took the child immediately and put it to feed. And so the Prophet ﷺ is observing this with the companions, narrated by Umar bin al-Khattab. And he ﷺ said, he asked the question, أَتُرَوْنَ هَذِهِ طَارِحَةٌ وَلَدَهَا فِي النَّارِ. Do you think this woman would throw her child into the fire? His companions are like, La ya Rasulullah. Never, unless it's something that she can't avoid. Like she's not responsible, like maybe she's insane or something. Right? The meaning of the hadith is, no, this would never happen. How could, here she's looking for a child frantically, finds the child, and immediately she's suckling the child. And then the Prophet ﷺ, Rasulullah ﷺ said, Allahu arhamu bi'ibadihi min hadhihi biwaladiha. That Allah is more merciful to His servants than this mother to her child. Who hasn't committed sins? No one. Everyone. We all commit mountains of sins every day. Every waking moment. We violate the laws of Allah. We transgress. We oppress. We do everything. We spoil the earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to walk lightly on earth. We walk like we own the earth. We're told by the wise Luqman to have a small footprint. We have a big footprint. We carry sticks. We drive big cars. Right? We do all of this stuff. So, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, even so, all of this, come to Allah, come to His mercy. And I'd say, if I could give you a suggestion, one recommendation, humble recommendation, please come up with any of them that you could come up with. Add something to your daily routine. For example, Surah Al-Mulk, right? Which will do you good in this life. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, it will protect you from the theft. It will protect your property from theft, from thieves, from bandits. It will protect you in the grave, according to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. The grave will intercede for you. It will protect you against shaitan. In the hadith of Ibn Abbas narrated, a Sahaba, he said in the narration, a Sahaba pitched his tent on a grave without knowing it. And at night he heard the inhabitant of the grave reciting Surah Tabarak, Surah Mulk. And so he went to the Prophet ﷺ, he told the Prophet ﷺ, right? And the Prophet ﷺ said, it is the defender, the protector, shielding him from Allah's punishment. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, I wish Tabarak could be in the heart of every believer. It could be in the heart of every believer. So if you could add something of this, like Surah Mulk, like Surah Yasin, like Surah Waqi'ah, to protect your wealth, to protect your belonging, to protect yourself, do something. Mark this day, this time, with something that you can do that will help you in this life and in the akhirah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين لكل ذنب إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله عدد كمال الله كما يليق بكماله. وصلى الله تعالى على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين والملائكة المقربين والخلفاء الراشدين، خصوصا على خير البشر بعد الأنبياء بالتحقيق أمير المؤمنين سيدنا أبي بكر الصديق رضي الله تعالى عنه، وعلى مزين المنبر والمحراب أمير المؤمنين سيدنا عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى عنه، وعلى كامل الحياء والإيمان أمير المؤمنين سيدنا عثمان بن عفان رضي الله تعالى عنه، وعلى مظهر العجائب والغرائب أمير المؤمنين سيدنا علي بن أبي طالب رضي الله تعالى عنه وكرم وجوههم، وعلى الإمامين الهمامين أمير المؤمنين سيدنا أبي عبد الله الحسن والحسين رضي الله تعالى عنهما، وعلى أمهما سيدة النساء فاطمة الزهراء رضي الله تعالى عنها، وعلى أميه المكرمين سيدنا أبي أمارة الحمزة وأبي الفضل العباسي رضي الله تعالى عنهما، وعلى ستة الباقية من الأشرة المبشرة وسائر المهاجرين والأنصار والتابعين الأبرار الأخيار إلى يوم القرار رضوان الله تعالى عليهم أجمعين. اللهم اغفر لي ولوالدي ولجميع المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات. اللهم أيد الإسلام والمسلمين بالإمام العادل والخير والطاعات واتباع سنن سيد الموجودات. اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم واجعلنا منهم. اللهم اخذل من خذل دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا تجعلنا معهم. عباد الله رحمكم الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم، ولذكر الله تعالى أعلى وأولى وأعز وأجل وأتل وأهم وأكبر، والله يعلم ما تصنعون.